Welcome to a new episode of the 90s Metal Gamer, where we stay hydrated and play video games. I wouldn't necessarily consider myself a huge stan of the Star Wars franchise, but I do enjoy the movies and a few of their games. And just for 100% transparency, I have to admit that I do not know every single little detail about the Star Wars lore. In my opinion, it's too much. To summarize the entire Star Wars franchise, I'm going to say just one sentence. It is the story of the Skywalker family and friends battling the dark side of the Force and trying to bring balance to the galaxy. That's honestly the best way that I can describe it. And there are a lot of side stories that are involved as well, such as the Clone Wars, the Mandalorian, Bad Batch, so forth and so on. The story just goes on and deeper and deeper. And it's because of that I don't know everything about the Star Wars lore. All the Star Wars elitists are probably rushing to the comments right now to say something, or probably not. In any case, this video is a casual review of Star Wars The Force Unleashed for the PS3. I've actually had this game in my collection for several years, but I never actually got around to finishing it. Because of life. Life happens to everybody. I've attempted to play this game many times, and the furthest I got was just past the introduction. Nothing further after that. And this is the first time that I've beaten the game from start to finish, and I have to say that I thoroughly enjoyed it. I don't have any kind of sentimental attachment to the Star Wars franchise, so it's safe to say that this review video is going to be unbiased in comparison to my previous review videos. I try to remain as unbiased as possible, but yeah, that's not always the case. I end up always having a bias anyways. Considering that this is just a casual review of Star Wars Force Unleashed, I must iterate that I did not complete this game to 100% completion. The main focus was the story, and I also have to say that I beat this game on the easiest difficulty. That's how I like to play my games, and I will keep it that way. Over the course of this review, we're going to go over the story, the gameplay, the presentation, and the music, and then we'll wrap it all up with a water score. Cue the channel intro.
And then the Lord said,
I want to see your tiny head.
Before I get into this review video, I want to touch on the developmental process for Star Wars The Force Unleashed. All of the information I found about the developmental process came from a website named wikiwand.com. I'll link it in the description. Planning for this game began around summer of 2024, and it only included about 6 developers. And they all tossed around the idea of what to do for the next Star Wars game. I don't know why I had Star Fox on my mind. Anyway, these 6 developers were tossing around the ideas of what to build the new Star Wars game upon. This included maybe a 3rd installment of Knights of the Old Republic, having a Wookiee superhero game, expanding the story of Darth Maul, a bounty hunter game, a smuggler mercenary game. A lot of ideas were tossed around, but then they finally decided to focus on one thing. They decided to bridge the gap between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. Fast forward a little bit to 2007, where the game is in pre-production. The game is based on LucasArts' proprietary Ronin game engine, but it also integrates third-party technology such as the Havoc engine for rigid body physics. Forgive me if I'm pronouncing this wrong, but they used Pixelux Entertainment's digital molecular matter for dynamically destructible objects, and Natural Motion's Euphoria for realistic non-player characteristic artificial intelligence. That's a mouthful. The game sold relatively well, In the third quarter of 2008, it sold approximately 1.738 million units, and as of July 2009, it had sold 6 million units. The lowest score that it got was the DS version at 60% from Game Rankings. The official Nintendo magazine gave it its highest score with 82% for the Wii. It's a little bit biased if you ask me. And that's about all I'm going to cover for the developmental process. The article that I'm reading goes very in-depth and into a lot of detail, and I don't feel like talking about all that. So I'm just going to leave you with that. So with that said, let's go ahead and get into the story. Y'all know the drill by now. I suck at storytelling, so I'm going to let the game tell the story for me. And because of copyright stuff, I'm not going to play the music that goes along with this. So instead, enjoy some music from Jacob Lezon.
Sense someone far more powerful nearby. Where is your master?
The dark side has clouded your mind. You killed my master years ago.
Then now you will share his fate. A son?
Run! Lord Vader!
Come with me. More will be here soon. You were weak when I found you. Now your hatred has become your strength. At last, the dark side is your ally. Rise, my apprentice.
What is your will, my master?
Your training is nearly complete. It is time to face your first true test.
Your spies have located a Jedi?
Yes, Master Ram Kota. He is attacking a critical Imperial shipyard. Destroy him and bring me his lightsaber.
I shall leave at once, master.
The Emperor cannot discover you. Leave no witnesses. Kill everyone aboard, Imperials and Kota's men alike.
As you wish, my master.
Ah, Master! Another excellent duel!
Proxy, you did catch me by surprise. I haven't fought that training program in years. I thought you'd erased it.
I'd hoped that using an older training module would catch you off guard and allow me to finally kill you. I'm sorry I failed you again.
Well, I'm sure you'll keep trying. Yeah, but do me a favor. Don't ambush me anytime. Proxy!
Yes, why are we whispering?
Shh, who's that?
Ah, yes. Your new pilot has finally arrived, Master. Accessing Imperial records.
Captain Juno Eclipse, born on Corilag, where she became the youngest student ever accepted into the Imperial Academy. Decorated combat pilot with over 100 combat missions, and commanding officer during the bombing of Kalos. Hand-picked by Lord Vader to lead his Black 5 squadron, but later reassigned to a top-secret mission. Is there a psychological profile in there too?
Actually, yes. But it's restricted. Oh, Master, I can tell you she's going to be impossible to reprogram.
Do you know why you're here?
Yes. My orders are clear. I'm to keep your ship running and fly you wherever your missions require.
Did Vader tell you that he killed our last pilot?
No. But I can only assume that he gave Lord Vader good reason to do so. I will not.
Well, let's hope so. I'm sick of training new pilots.
What have you done to my ship?
I've taken the liberty of upgrading the Rogue Shadow sensor array. Now you'll be able to spy on any suspect ships within the entire system. You are one of Vader's spies.
You don't need to know anything about my missions except where I'm going. Now I need to jump to Nar Shaddaa. Can you handle that?
Of course.
And that, my friends, pretty much sums up the story of Star Wars The Force Unleashed. And with everything that is Star Wars related, it of course goes much deeper than that. About halfway through the game, Lord Vader will betray you and attempts to kill you in order to satisfy Lord Palpatine. Lord Palpatine says that Lord Vader has forgotten his place by taking Starkiller as his apprentice, and now must kill him in order to align himself with Lord Palpatine. Lord Vader revives him, saying that he can now have his revenge and fulfill his destiny, but in actuality, Lord Vader just wants to use him as his gopher. Starkiller, being young and naive as he is, continues to do Lord Vader's bidding. And that concludes the story segment of this video. We're going to go ahead and get into the gameplay now. I'm really trying not to compare it to anything, but I can't help but do it anyway. If you have played any of the God of War games prior to 2018, then Star Wars Force Unleashed should feel very familiar to you, minus the exorbitant amount of gore, blood, and sex. Each mission will require you to slice and dice some people, solve some minor puzzles, and there are even QuickTime events. As a matter of fact, you're looking at one right now. The Force Unleashed is not necessarily an RPG game, but there are RPG elements included in this game, such as upgrading your force potential. What I mean by force potential, you can upgrade your force combos, force powers, and force talents. It uses a point system to upgrade your stuff, and in order to get more points, you need to slice and dice some baddies. A simple yet effective system, if you ask me. The controls themselves did feel a bit clunky, that's the best way I can describe it, but I'm more inclined to chalk that up to me having stupid fingers and a very old PS3 controller. I'm chalking it up to the controller because there were times during my gameplay when I would be swinging around my lightsaber and I would not be pushing any buttons at all. So yes, I have a faulty controller. There was a little bit of lag input, but once again, faulty controller, so I'm not going to dock any points considering this. And this concludes the gameplay segment of this video. Let's go ahead and get into the presentation. For the presentation segment of this video, I'm going to reuse the last clip that I used in the previous segment. I believe it is the best looking scene in the entire game. Enjoy.
Has the starship been destroyed? I repeat, has the starship been destroyed? Respond. Boy!
Relax, General. I'm still here.
Good. Good. We'll see you back at the ship.
Master?
Both the pre-rendered cutscenes and the gameplay graphics are absolutely phenomenal. Keep in mind, this game released in 2008. It is now 2024, so 16 years later, this game is still absolutely beautiful. I have to say, it has aged very well. With the exception of the lightsabers, the rest of the world was very bland in colors, I have to say. But that's not necessarily a bad thing though. I think it suits the story very well. I don't believe there's anything much more to say about the graphics. Absolutely beautiful. They speak for themselves. Let's go ahead and get into the music.
I've started for years.
I'm probably going to get a copyright claim for this, but at this point I really don't care because I absolutely love this song. In case you don't know it or you've been living under a rock, it is called Duel of the Fates by none other than John Williams and the London Symphony Orchestra. Arguably the most iconic song out of the entire Star Wars franchise. The sound of the music itself is kept at a relatively low volume as opposed to the sounds of the combat, which is relatively higher. I'm assuming LucasArts did this in order to immerse the player more in the game. And personally, I think it played off very well.
You agreed to stay away!
I lied.
This channel is 100% transparency when it comes to playing my games. So with that said, the real reason why I wanted to play this game is to hear that specific game. You agreed to stay away. I lied. That is literally the only reason why I wanted to play this game, and I got what I wanted.
Without me, you'll never be free.
Just like I stated in the introduction of this video, I am not a huge stan of the Star Wars franchise, but I do love the games and I do love the movies. Considering that, this review was completely unbiased. And I really do try to be as unbiased as I possibly can with all my review videos, but that's not always the case because I always have some kind of sentimental attachment to it, and I just can't get rid of it. In the case of Star Wars The Force Unleashed, I can say with 100% honesty that there was no sentimental attachment to this review. Overall, I had a lot of fun playing this game. Much to my surprise, I thought I was not going to enjoy this game. I thought it was going to be a dumpster fire. Let's go over what we discussed in this video. For the story, it is about trust, lost trust, and getting revenge. Pretty solid in my book. The gameplay was a bit wonky and clunky, but I'm blaming that on the controller itself because it is relatively old and it is faulty, to say the least. The graphics have definitely aged well. It holds up even to today's games, and that says a lot about a 16-year-old game. And the music, just lovely. Absolutely gorgeous music. Considering all this, I will give this game a water score of 5 out of 5 bottles of water. Thank you for watching my video all the way to the end. I really do appreciate it, and I really do mean that from the bottom of my heart. If you're new here, please consider subscribing to the channel. I love y'all, stay hydrated, and stay tuned for my next video.